welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts, and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Bye Bye Bluebeard, and with me today are my two fellow Bluebeards, Manny Cruz and S.C. MacPeter. Say hi!
He does it better than I do.
I can't compete and so I will never try. Listeners, never try. You know,
exactly. First,
Yep.
Look at that was quick.
So, this is Bye Bye Bluebeard, released on the 21st of October 1949, and it had a blue ribbon reissue sometime in the 60s. It's the 571st in the series, and it's directed by Art Davis. And if you need to see this short, well, at least you got two nice options. You got the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 3 DVD set. I have a link below for that. And it's on HBO Max in higher definition.
Beard's clothing, I'll find you no matter where you are.
In case you haven't seen this one, because it is under copyright after all, it's got an interesting setup. So Porky is having issues with a mouse who is always trying to eat his food. Porky then finds out about an escaped crook named Bluebeard, which leads to the mouse disguising himself as Bluebeard. Porky catches on, but then he ends up encountering the real Bluebeard. So there you go.
Trying to get away because I'm too smart for you. I have a high IQ. I know you're a phony Bluebeard because you're only 3 inches high, and the real Bluebeard is the real Bluebeard is 6 feet 11 inches.
3 bits of trivia before we get into discussing the cartoon. The title is a play on the song Bye Bye Blackbird, and as Manny confirmed with me, it does indeed also play over the title cards, so it's a nice little touch there by Carl Starling. So we got a few inside jokes in the medicine cabinets. So we've got Frisbee miniatures, that's of course Frizz Freeling, Maltese minestrone. Why minestrone's in there, I don't know, but that's of course Mike Maltese. Ted Pierce's medicine. Gee, I wonder who that's referencing. Dr. Foster's penance, so that's Warren Foster. And the most interesting one to me is Jones's laxative. Reference Chuck Jones. I wonder if someone just didn't like Chuck Jones. I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. Let me put it that way. Now, the big one, though, is, well, the short is called Bye Bye Bluebeard, but we also have to say Bye Bye Art Davis. Sorry, I had to say it. I do apologize. Low-hanging fruit, I know, but I had to. Due to budget cuts at Warner's, this is Art Davis's last directed short. He did direct Crocodile Tears later on, but that was a one-off thing, and I believe that was as a favour to Frizz Freeling. And speaking of Frizz Freeling, Art would become part of Frizz's unit as an animator, and he would end up doing amazing work, and it's also my understanding that Art actually preferred to be an animator anyway, so it kind of worked out. I mean, is that true, SC? Did I get that right?
Yes. Art was a great director, but I think when he was at Warner's, he just had a lot of responsibility over it, and the politics of Warner's were different from when he was directing and animating at Screen Gems, that it was just a bigger chore there, I would say.
Yeah. No, and some people, they might be good at something, but they may not necessarily love it, so, that could just indeed be the case here. You guys love this short from what you were telling me, but I'll start with you, Manny. This short means a bit extra to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, so, I mean, as you could clearly tell, I love the evil laughter that you hear multiple times in this cartoon. This is definitely the first cartoon I think of when you think of Mel Blanc's patented evil laugh. I mean, I could try it one more time. Excuse me.
I'll never get tired of that. That's going to be my ringtone for you, I think.
So, actually, when I was in graduate school, when I was out in Texas, I forgot what it was, the context of it, and they said something that I had to do like an evil laugh in a scene of an opera, and I did that specific laugh. And my director, he knew. He says, "Of course you copied it from a Looney Tune." He knew exactly what I was doing. But I just love the evil laugh of this cartoon. Just like when we were talking about, Anthony, we recorded Often an Orphan. I think of the Charlie Dog cartoons when I think of yes. First thing I think of. Going back to this one, my older brother, Carlos, who he's not a nerd like I am when it comes to Looney Tunes. I mean, obviously, he grew up watching them like I did. He's a few years older than I am. But he, for some reason, gets a big kick out of this cartoon, and specifically the part near the end when Porky's in the guillotine and Bluebeard's about to execute him, and he starts rubbing his hands together, and he does the really high-pitched evil laugh. I could do it, record it and then speed it up, and, you'll get the same result. But it's just like he'll literally rewatch that clip multiple times, and he gets a huge kick out of it. And, before recording this commentary, I hadn't seen this cartoon in a long time. I was like, yeah, give me all the evil laughs. All the evil laughs. And this is definitely not only the fact I think it's really funny, and I know that SC is going to go a little more into detail with this, but it is definitely one of the most, I don't want to say, well, I guess the only word I can think of is disturbing. It's definitely one of the most disturbing Warner Brothers shorts they ever made. Not like, oh my God, this is like inappropriate or whatever, but it's just like, everybody thinks of Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies, slapstick, wordplay, whatever, but there's like some pretty dark stuff in this cartoon. And it always seems to be Porky because, as I've said before in other commentaries, one of my favorite shorts of all time is The Case of the Stuttering Pig, which is very dark. And this one is also very dark, but also with a nice sense of humor on top of it.
SC, you've got some information regarding Sid Marcus.
Yes, Sid Marcus wrote this and My Ham and a Roll. Sid Marcus was a very experienced guy and probably Art Davis's closest friend in terms of, being in the animation business. I believe Marcus started in 1926 working at the Associated Animators studio that was producing Mutt and Jeffs under Dick Humor. After that, it seems that he moved around to Crazy Cat studio that was ran by Ben Harris and Manny Gould. He went to Fleischer's for a little bit. He created Bimbo the dog there, and shortly after that, he left and he went to California with back at Crazy Cat, which is now Screen Gems. And he created the Toby the Pup character there. He directed some of those. Then he sort of became just an animator for Dick Humor again, working on the Scrappies. When Humor left, he replaced him in his rank, and he would produce Color Rhapsodies and other stuff. After the studio closed, he went to Warner's. He did this. They closed down Davis's unit. They had to get rid of him. I really like Marcus's stuff, and he really just tries to experiment with trying to write different cartoons, I feel. And this is no exception. Like, he's trying to do a Warner's cartoon, but just put like this manic Bluebeard character in it. And of course, if you know the story of Bluebeard, he really shouldn't be killing Porky because Porky's not his romantic partner, of course, and he shouldn't be on a rampage. But it's just really odd. It's just another one of those odd ideas where he's just trying to get a kick out of using the Bluebeard character in a Looney Tunes short, I feel.
For sure. Now, as for the cartoon itself, let's get right into it. I mean, I love the opening zoom out in this cartoon because, as Manny will say,
in, up, down, in, up, down. I could say that was me earlier today where my friend was torturing me with a 52-pound kettlebell in my hand doing an exercise. But realistically, let's be real. I mean, I actually did that exercise, but my preferred exercise is that's me whenever I go to an all-you-can-eat sushi buffet. In, up, down, in,
down.
Up, down. Oh man, I want some all-you-can-eat sushi right now. I mean, the spread that Porky had in the cartoon, I'll take that as well. But and the fact that he's once again a cannibal, I mean, unless he's eating turkey sausage or beef sausage, but yeah, he's definitely a cannibal in this cartoon.
Well, remember, in Orphan and Orphan, he's also a pig farmer, so
the ham and eggs. I love that. That part cracks me up every time.
Cracks you up like
how
the
do
eggs.
You do? Now I'm thinking of the other Charlie Dog short. How do you do? Oh, the places I've been. All right, sorry. Focus. Speaking of accents, of course, there's Bluebeard's when he starts talking in like a Russian accent. Like, my conscience. Why are you outside? That's terrible accent. So,
who are you?
I am your conscience.
My conscience?
Sure, everybody has a conscience inside of them.
Well, what are you doing outside?
I do like the fact that as soon as Porky learns about this Bluebeard character from the radio, because radio was still king, television still slowly
Almost there.
making its way. in. They existed for sure, but radio was still king and would still be king for a little while yet. So he hears this, and then he closes all the curtains, and that part sort of makes me thinking, so that's going to prevent a break-in, does it? Closing the curtains. Sorry, boys, we're not going to rob from this house. He's got his curtains down. Oh, and then walk away, But anyway, that's just...
Oh, darn.
Like, oh, darn. It does have one bit of animation that is probably one of the most craziest bits of animations I've seen in a Warner short, and that's Porky's spirit or ghost or whatever trying to leave his body for a split second. That just came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, okay. That's a bit crazy, but I love that. What did you guys think of that?
Yeah, there's a lot of great takes in this one.
For some reason, it reminds me of... I'm thinking of Ren and Stimpy for some reason. I know there was an episode where like they peel their skin off and whatever, and it's like you see the inside part of it. I don't know. That's what that scene
Guess who
right
doesn't
there.
like Ren and Stimpy?
It explains the way I am now. So no, that's what happens when you grow up with Nickelodeon in the 90s. You see Ren and Stimpy, you see Rocko's Minor Life, and all this weird stuff. But you know what? Art Davis did it first.
And I will pivot it away by using a Simpsons reference, SC. I cast thee out. Anyway,
Well,
I kid.
I'll say this. It's interesting you brought up the Russian accent because it has a bit of tint of French on it, which reminds me that the Bluebeard story is, of course, a French story, which might explain why he uses a guillotine to try and kill Porky.
Yeah, it's and we'll get to the guillotine definitely in a moment because I thought that was pretty weird, but in a good way. Don't worry, I'm not gonna.
I think they were on sale. Like the Iron Maidens were a little out of his budget, and Rifle Squad. The guys were calling in sick, so he went in with the guillotine instead.
But I love the silhouette of the mouse Bluebeard because the mouse is unnamed, so we'll just call it Mouse Bluebeard, I suppose. And I just love how this short was directed, really. Some of the angles you see in this one and the silhouettes and that. Like, Art may have preferred being an animator, but he was a pretty good director. And this is a great example of what he was able to do, I thought.
It seems like the Marcus-Davis collaboration was really welcoming because, like I said, they were pretty close because they had worked together so frequently for well over a decade at Screen Gems. And they worked later at Lance and to Patty Frailing. They seem to have got along really well.
How did the real Bluebeard get in the home? I thought, when I first noticed that Porky's pulling him out and I'm going, oh, that's a real Bluebeard, but where did he come from? Like, do you guys feel that there maybe should have been something extra to show him breaking in, or do you think it worked fine the way it does?
It's a cartoon.
But it's supposed to be realistic.
Look, we only have a certain amount of footage to put out. You don't have to use it all.
But I thought it was funny anyway, just the whole twist in that, okay, he starts pulling, and then it's... Of course, the real Bluebeard. I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, that is such. What is that? Like a cut or something? Or I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, it's just like it's so abrupt, but it works so well. I love that part.
And I do find it interesting that at least for a quarter of this cartoon, in terms of the running time, Art seems to be more interested in keeping Porky away. So he basically has him all tied up, and then you just have the two Bluebeards doing all sorts of wonderful gags, which are incredibly funny. It just shows how a lot of these directors seem to want to get rid of Porky at the earliest possible convenience to the story.
I always thought that the pie use was pretty weird because every time I just see the pie slam in animation, it just always comes up and distracts me because it works better in live action than cartoons, in my opinion. But then again, Marcus also did that in A Ham and a Roll. So I guess he just really liked very quick slapstick like that.
And especially when Bluebeard's head turns into a piece of toast, so I thought that was pretty good. That part was fun. But then you got the angle of the guillotine being created, and then you think that Porky is suffering. All those sound effects. I mean, Trek Brown, why is he building a guillotine at all? Like, you think, why go through all the effort? I thought that was pretty weird. But Manny, I'll get you to do an impersonation here. Ready? Popovers.
Popovers. Popovers.
But my question for the both of you, though, what are they? Because I have no idea what on earth a popover is. Do you guys have any idea?
The image is popping in my head. See, no pun intended, actually.
Popovers are like a pastry, I would say.
According
But
to
made with egg.
Wikipedia, is a light roll made from an egg batter similar to that of Yorkshire pudding. I'm not British. Kind of like a muffin with like a little cream in the inside. Was it maybe served to the sweet, topped with fruit and whipped cream? Okay, now I'm getting really hungry reading this. I can't read this.
Fair enough.
So if you have Porky spread and now you have popovers, is like, come on, guys, I'm trying to lose weight here.
Just go back to exercising, just like our Porky does. Yeah, what?
In, up, up, down. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And the ending, I love how it bookends the beginning. I thought Art Davis, his shorts, sometimes they end very weirdly or abruptly in that, but this one, I thought, chef's kiss. I thought it perfectly bookends everything.
The whole cartoon just really feels like well structured. That's something I've come to appreciate with Davis a lot recently, is that he just really tries to build good structure around these cartoons, and just sort of like they sort of have like the feeling of like a short book that opens and ends well.
Some of the musical things that I thought were really cool. When I was watching the cartoon, I was like, this sounds like Raymond Scott. And I was right. There was a part that featured War Dance for Wooden Indians by Raymond Scott. And in the scene that you were talking earlier where Bluebeard is constructing the guillotine, you're actually hearing a part of the music from Parsifal, an opera from Richard Wagner. Because again, I was listening to him like, this sounds like Wagner. And I looked it up, I was like, oh, I was right. For Bluebeard himself, when he is revealed, the real Bluebeard, when you see the ruler next to him and like showing his exact height, he is 6'11", which is the same height as The Undertaker. So for all you wrestling fans out there. And I did Anthony a solid and I converted it into the metric system. He is 2.11 meters tall. And also one other thing I forget is I want to find out what's the name of the sound effect. When Porky like realizes Bluebeard's there and he starts turning white and it goes, and that sound effect, I remember, they also use it in an Action Time. There's one cartoon in particular that I could think of that sound. But if I could find out how that was made, I'll be the happiest man in the world.
6 feet 11 inches.
In terms of score, I'm giving this one a nice, solid, 8.5. Like, it's one of those shorts where it's not the biggest standout of 1949, at least to me, but it's fun. It's very enjoyable. I think it's pretty funny, and as a last hurrah, at least, compared to Crocodile Tears, for Art Davis' directing career of this period, I think it's a very solid way of getting going. So I reckon about 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to be nice and generous. So what about you guys? What would you rate this one?
I give it 8.5 too. Yeah, because I really like this one. And and of course I mentioned I really just like the way Davis directed cartoons at Warner Brothers, and this Marcus collaboration should have been something that got on longer.
And what about you, Manny?
When it comes to my score for this cartoon, definitely one I've always liked. Again, like what you guys were saying, it's not the greatest short of 1949, but I mean, 49 is a solid year in general. And this was definitely a nice send-off. I wish he lasted longer, but hey, it is what it is. So I'm going to give it 8 out of 10.
So that will do it for this one. And as always, guys, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, take care.
That's all, folks.
I'm going to do one more for the crowd.
In, up, out, down. In, up, out, down. In, up, out, down. 1, 2, 3, 4.